Hello, Floppy Hat Photos back here for my wrap up of my hot water tank replacement. And as you can see, it's all in there, it's all good. Only thing I have left to do is basically solder on this last little blow off pipe. I'm going to drill a hole in the floor, which I'll just drop a plumb line down to do. Not a big deal, not in a real big hurry there. And then I need to find a coupler that would hook the two straight pipes up. This one's actually long enough if I just put the piece on it, but it wouldn't actually stick through the floor far enough. So I want to go ahead and just solder those two together. I'll just unscrew this right here, which is not a big deal. It's not tight. I'll take it outside, solder it, so I don't have to worry about getting the paint on the hot water heater too hot and that kind of stuff. So that's my last piece, but with a brand new hot water heater, it shouldn't be a big deal about worrying about this thing blowing off. Not as big a concern as I'm hoping that, not as concerned as I was with the old one. And then from there, we can just worry about everything else. So what I ended up doing was wired in. Everything's good there. The ground wires are out here. I wish that was hidden inside somewhere, but it's not, so it's what it's going to be. There was no information on like a good place to put it. My old one had an extra screw up here that made it easier to do. This one's in there, it works. So all wired in good. Had to build up the platform on the bottom to raise these up so I didn't have to do quite as much cutting and fitting. Unfortunately, this is not the same. These are much farther apart. It's a much wider tank from like left to right. So these pipes on the side here are at an angle. That's not going to show up at all, is it? Well, anyway, they're at an angle. It's not a real big deal. It just kind of annoys me a little bit. And I also did not get this one here soldered straight with the one in the back. So unfortunately, that kind of put a little bit of a twist at it, which made me have to raise it up a smidgen higher than what I wanted to. Other than that, it's good. I got everything with it. It's working great. All my fittings are tight. There's no leaks anywhere. My soldering's holding up so far. I got no reason to think it'll ever go bad. If it didn't leak yet, it shouldn't ever leak is my theory and everything I've checked into with soldering. The one thing I do have is the white right here is that paste I used, and I kept reaching, feeling for water, and I kept getting the crap all over my hands. So I think I might grab some paper towels and really kind of wipe all it off there. It seems like it's never going to dry. It's been, I don't know, it's not even 24 hours yet. So maybe it will dry. It just hasn't dried yet. I'll put it that way. So I did have it set at the factory setting. Went and took my shower last night, and I think I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. I like a super crazy hot shower, and it's set at 125 from the factory, so I'm going to have to pump that up just a smidgen. But overall, I'm super happy with the whole thing. Super satisfied with my soldering ability. I would never enter a contest for beauty because you can see this is ugly as hell right here. But it is watertight, so that's the only thing I'm after is watertight, not beauty. So happy about all this. If you guys ever have the need to take on a project like this and you're not sure, I had no clue if I could do this or not. Worst case scenario, now if you're putting it in and say it's a vacation home, you're going to leave for 6 months and won't see it again, turn the water off to it. There's no reason to have water pressure on your house if you're gone for 6 months. But if it's something you can monitor, something you can watch every single day, in the beginning part for the first hour or two, you shouldn't have any real issue. I say go for it, give it a try. So saved me, I think, about $300 because the shop that I talked to around town here, they wanted to overcharge me on the hot water heater, and it was less efficient than the one I bought, which is ridiculous. Was smaller capacity than the one I bought, and by the time I figured those two cost in, not even counting the yearly cost involved with a less efficient unit, but in their installation, I saved right about $300. Well, I guess probably $220 after I bought all the materials and tools that I needed. So about $220 is what I got paid to spend a few hours putting this thing in. And that feeling of confidence of knocking this thing out of here felt really good. So I say go for it. Worst case scenario, if you screw it all up, go pay the guy to come in and put it in and spend the $300 anyway. So that's all I got for now. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a safe and wonderful day. Get out there, take on a project, and impress yourself.